Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Intensive Treatment, your number one spot where we talk about everything in the Arkham universe and we blow a train.
Mm, yes, I was gonna add to it, but there's nothing I can add. It's
No,
perfect. It was perfect
you're
down to
just
the
like, well,
last minute detail.
yeah. Um, so today we're going to talk about a topic which has a bit of an interesting history to them. So we all remember the Dark Knight trilogy, right? Is a
Um, I don't
yeah.
remember.
Was that the one with Batman in it?
Yeah, I think so. But yes.
So, Dark Knight Trilogy, one of the most popular franchises at the time in the late 2000s. Um, it was so good, in fact, that Dark Knight got an Oscar
Yes, it did.
because of an amazing performance by Heath Ledger as the
Yep.
Jonkler.
Yep. This was the first, unfortunately, the first and last time he jonked on our screens,
That's
but he jonked while jonkling hardcore, and he jonked an Oscar.
he jonked
So
so every other Jonkler could keep jonking afterwards.
he literally did. Thank you, Heath Jonkler Ledger.
So the movies were going great, right? But for Batman video games around that time, or just the 2000s, Batman was not having a good time in the video game space. Um, we had Batman Vengeance, we had Batman Rise of Sinzu. Both of those games are not good. We also had Dark Tomorrow, which is a
Oh my god.
shit-tastic experience that nobody should play. And
Why
but
did you have to bring up Dark Tomorrow? No, I'm
because
just kidding.
somebody was going to anyway.
It's true.
Yeah. So we had to be the bearer of bad news on that, but the last video game, um, in that kind of that was the one that actually got released was Batman Begins, and to me, there's a pretty interesting history with the the Dark Knight tie-in games, one of which
Yeah.
never came out, but it kind of paved the way for what Arkham would become later, and even after Arkham came out, the Dark Knight trilogy tried to capitalize on that Arkham success. So we're going to talk about three games in one video and just kind of give you the kind of transition from Nolan Batman to Arkham Batman.
Mhm.
So let's start with Batman Begins, the video game. Um, what's your history with this?
I've never played it, but after I played, I believe it was Arkham City, I found out that this existed, and I wanted it for the longest time. I think as a kid, loving the Dark Knight trilogy, I was just kind of head over heels with the idea that wow, there's actually a video game that is taken from this universe. That's pretty awesome.
Hmm.
And it's sort of, I had seen gameplay on YouTube and I'm like, oh wow, it's like pre-Arkham. Like there's some of the seeds are there, but it's not the same.
Hmm.
Um, so I always wanted it. I still don't have it, but I'm gonna end up getting it here soon. Because apparently I can play it backwards compatible on 360, which is awesome.
Okay.
So that's my history with it. What
Okay.
about you? I
Me,
know you've played it.
yeah, I played this game a bunch. I rented this game a lot of times as a kid when blockbusters were still a thing and you can rent movies and video games. So I rented this quite a
Blockbusters? You
yeah,
mean Goat Busters?
Goat Busters. Not
Forgot
Ghostbusters, Goat Busters, yeah.
Forgotten gem of the early 2000s is Blockbusters, guys.
I miss Blockbusters so much.
Me too.
Yeah. So yeah, I rented this game a few times. Never finished it. Um,
Ever?
I could only
Or
get through the first few levels. Like and also we didn't have a memory card at the time, so I couldn't even finish it if I wanted to, or I couldn't save for another day. But um, so like I remember liking it as a kid, and then as I got older, we played the Arkham games. We kind of stepped away from all that, and then
right.
I didn't think about this till recently because the narrative that's being pushed now is that this is basically proto Arkham Asylum, and I went back through it. I was like, yeah, I could see that. Like I could see the elements in play there. Like the combat kind of feeling like being on that caliber, and also there's a little bit of stealth elements, and so yeah, I guess just getting into my thoughts on the game because I mean, like you said, you haven't played it, so you can't really
Yeah,
contribute to
unfortunately,
this.
no.
Um,
Wow, thanks a lot.
well, it's just
No, you're right. No, I can't.
yeah, fucking loser.
I'm nothing. I'm nothing.
Go sit in the corner and play Arkham Knight.
Okay.
Okay, it's fine. It's a fine attempt. It's not great. It's not even anywhere near good, as some other people would say. Alter Brat, you're fucking wrong. Um, it's a fine game. There's some things that you know I enjoy, kind of. Like I like the element of fear that is in the game. Like you can like throw a batarang at like a pipe and things will just burst and explode all over the place and thugs will get scared shitless. So that's a neat idea. The combat is just kind of like it's not really that great. Stealth is just there you can do takedowns, but it's just easier to avoid encounters altogether. Because if you get seen at any point, you're just gonna get mowed down by bullets, and that's not fun. Um, my biggest problem with it is its length. It's not a very long game, but it feels like a very long. Levels just drag on way more than they should, and you're running all over the place doing all these stupid things like trying to find passwords for shit and trying to find some item or whatever. It's like it's just it become after a while like you have to put the game down and just kind of take a break because
Yeah.
if you marathon through that whole thing, it's like it just gets draining like fast. So um also you have a couple Batmobile segments which are ripped right from Need for Speed. So you're just plowing through cars which have no casualties, by the way, so Batman doesn't murder
Wow.
anyone.
Wow,
And
incredible.
yeah, yeah. You're on a time limit. You have like an energy meter. So if you run out of that, you're basically fucked. And yeah, it's a very interesting title. So I don't know if I would recommend it like too much.
You're just gonna play it once.
I'm probably gonna have to do another playthrough at some point again. Maybe for like a review or something like that. But at this point right now, it is a fine game.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the Dark Knight game. Oh yeah,
This
that's right.
is an
That never
interesting
came
one.
out. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was canceled. Yeah. But the history of that I think is neat just because even though it was canceled, it was being made by Pandemic, who
Which happened in 2020. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong pandemic.
wrong, yeah. No, way wrong. Jeez. They worked on the Star Wars Battlefront games, not those shitty online ones. Those we're talking about the good Star Wars Battlefront games. They also made one of my personal favorite games, Straw Humans, which you can go check out a couple
Yes.
videos that I've done. They were a very competent studio, and at the time they had the license. I think IDOS had the Batman license, and they had Pandemic working on it. But for whatever reason, like they didn't really get that much far in develop. I think this was because THQ might have shut them down at that time. They might have been working on something else. It wasn't to THQ standards, and they pulled the plug on the whole studio, which is always sad to see. Um, so out of that cancellation, Eidos took Batman back, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna give it to Rocksteady," and history just unfolded from there. We got Arkham Asylum, which is a masterpiece of a video game. No
Yep.
problems, no problems at all. Not even including Titan Joker, which sucks. It is a
Okay.
masterpiece.
Yes, it is. As
Um,
Homelander said it best. I'm not even going to say the quote because you all know what I'm talking about. Blowaway train.
yeah, yeah, I was waiting for it. Honestly, it was between that or like, you should be thanking Christ. I'm doing
Well,
what I do.
I was actually thinking of it was perfect down to the last minute detail, but I faked it out and I was like, yeah, blowaway train.
Blow a tree. So yeah, after that, Arkham became a huge success. You know, people were so inspired by Arkham. You know, we got a whole slew of clones at that time. Spider-Man copied Arkham. Captain America copied Arkham. Everybody was copying Arkham in some way.
Yep.
Even Batman himself copied Arkham because now we're going to talk about The Dark Knight Rises on mobile. Have you played this before?
I have.
You have.
I
So we
have
can
played this
talk about
before.
it.
That
What is
was oh
what's your
boy.
thoughts? What's your thoughts and history on this?
So, well, firstly, did this come out the year that the movie came out, or was it a year later? Was it 2013?
I want to say this was the same year as the movie, from what I
Okay,
remember.
so I played this a few years later. I want to say around the time Arkham Knight came out. Well, okay, let me backtrack a little bit here. I had downloaded the game originally on my OG iPod Touch.
Hmm.
And I had played a little bit of it. But I think my iPod broke, and there was a time when the game just wasn't working on the App Store and all this weird stuff. That was around when it actually came out.
Hmm.
Um, so then, past a couple years to when Arkham Knight comes out, I could actually download it. So I downloaded it, played it. I kind of like this game. It's not like a great game, but I always thought it was cool. And I love playing as Batman in the Dark Knight universe. And you can actually explore Gotham City and drive the Bat Pod and glide and grapple. And like it's basically Arkham on iOS. Like I think I from what I remember, there's silent takedowns. Um it's kind of like them trying to do Arkham on an iOS
Yeah,
device.
there's combat with like counter prompts and
Yeah.
all that. So,
I
um,
I think at that point they were just like, okay, well everyone's used to the Arkham formula and everybody loves the Dark Knight, so let's just meld them together. It's kind of almost like getting a Dark Knight game on a mobile device.
mm.
Like how that Dark Knight game would have it's them trying to maybe like atone for their sins. But yeah, what do you think of it?
So just like we said with Arkham VR, it's a cool novelty. Like
Yeah.
the idea of them trying to do an Arkham game on mobile, but damn, is it so clunky. It is hard to
It
play
is really
through
clunky.
for long periods of time. I ended up beating that game, and like as a kid, I had this since 2012 on my
Yeah.
sister's iPad that she bought with her hard-earned money, and I just stole from her.
Damn.
She wasn't using it. No, I'm kidding, but like, you know, we just buy games on like the App Store and whatever. And so I played The Dark Knight, and like I could only stomach it for so long because I was just like it was hard to play at point. Like the like combat was one thing, but when they tried to do stealth, yeesh, that was rough. That was really rough.
Yeah.
Um, but in like like you're going through the events of the movie, which is, you know, it's not a great movie, but whatever. You're going through the
No.
story. It's following it pretty much beat for beat. Um, and you know, you're fighting like Bane and you're fighting Scarecrow and all these other guys, and you know, you're gliding around Gotham and uh using the Bat Pod and also the Bat flying around in that thing, that hideous monstrosity. And like it was cool having the like it was cool having basically a true Arkham game on mobile because the only other Arkham game on mobile we had wasn't an Arkham game at all. It was just something else with an Arkham coat of paint all over it.
Yeah.
So it was probably the closest thing we were going to get to a true mobile Arkham experience. And but yeah, it was hard to come back and play it. And maybe at some point I'll play it again for like content sake. But like even as a kid, I was just like, I'm just gonna go play Arkham City now.
Yeah.
So not play this thing. But yeah, it's a cool novelty, but it's not that great.
I agree. It is a cool novelty.
But yeah, it's interesting how the Dark Knight influenced Arkham and then later took from that. Where it's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
hey, we basically created you, so let us just use your combat and whatever for our mobile game.
Right.
Because mobile was a thing. It was a huge thing at that point. Everybody was doing mobile games.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that that trend is so dead. But
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
yeah, we got some good mobile games or semi good mobile games over the years, but
I think so.
not a lot of like long lasting ones, I'd say.
Not at all.
And a lot of crap. We got a lot of shit at that time too.
Really bad stuff.
Yeah. So
Is there any that stick out to you? I'm just curious.
as bad mobile games.
Yeah. In this
Um,
vein.
you ever played Avengers Initiative at all?
I feel like I did.
That's the one where you're playing as the Hulk and you're just going from fight to fight.
I
It's
did play that game.
yeah, that's not good.
No, it's not good at all.
It's not good. It's not a good game. I'm trying to think of any others. You know what's the one mobile game I wish I could have played for myself?
What?
The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Because apparently people were singing praises about that.
On mobile?
Yeah.
I never played it.
Yeah. Yeah, the console game was so shit. They were just like, "Oh, there's an actual mobile game with like quality put into it."
Is that true? It was good?
Yeah, apparent from what I've seen, the general consensus is that Amazing Spider-Man 2 on mobile was good. So,
Huh.
I mean,
Let
I
us
played
know then.
Amazing Spider-Man 1 on mobile, and I mean, that was released around the same time as The Dark Knight, and I much prefer playing the Amazing Spider-Man over The Dark Knight. So,
Wow.
yeah. But yeah, that pretty much. I don't know if there's anything else to kind of go over. I just kind of said my piece
Yeah.
right there.
I don't think there is.
There's been a lot of trends and ideas in gaming that have kind of come up over the the decade that was Arkham. So we talked about VR, we talked about mobile, and I'm sure and now with Suicide Squad, we're getting microtransactions. So
Yeah.
it's rough.
We're living in a really we're depressed.
Yeah. We had so much success and then it all just went down the shitter. So
Isn't that a shame?
yeah, it is. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this video.
I
So,
think so too.
okay. So yeah, let us know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. Did you play Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises? Did you
And The Dark Knight, if you somehow managed to play it
if you were a
when
dev
it
working
didn't
at
exist.
Pandemic, can you tell us a little bit about the game? Stuff like that. Anyway, but yeah, check out our other podcast episodes and also our live streams. Been having a lot of fun on the live streams. And yeah, we'll check back next time for more Arkham goodness. So
Yeah.
have a great night. Thank you all so much for watching and take care and stay locked up as usual.